Today we're going to talk about one of the most under-recognized yet extremely common tactics employed by narcissists early on in relationships. And because many people don't understand this tactic, they often fall prey to it, setting off the beginning of a toxic and damaging relationship. And the tactic is called love bombing. Have you ever met someone who seemed too nice to be true? Showered you with compliments, attention, gifts, and promises of a perfect future together? Only to wonder why did that person suddenly pull away or change after you had already expressed how much you appreciated those kind gestures? Did you perhaps find yourself confused, even a bit hurt by their sudden change in behavior? You might have been caught in the insidious web of narcissistic love bombing. So let's break down this topic. Why do narcissists use love bombing as a technique? What are the signs of it happening? And what should you do if you find yourself in this situation? Let's begin with some basic definitions. Love bombing is a tactic in which a person bombards another with excessive displays of affection, gifts, and compliments within a short period. Now, why does this feel so good? Because this tactic typically happens early on in a relationship. It often aligns with our innate desires for validation, connection, and feeling special. It's like being swept off your feet by a whirlwind romance, but it's all an illusion. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, isn't being nice just being nice? Isn't receiving kindness a good thing? Yes, absolutely. But there's always a but, right? When it comes to narcissistic love bombing, it's crucial to recognize the red flags, however subtle they may be. So here's a question for you. Did you also get a bit uneasy at their almost too eager gestures? Did you feel a sense that something might be off despite the overwhelming charm? If you answered yes, then congratulations. You're already on the path to spotting this manipulative tactic. That little voice of unease. It's your intuition trying to tell you something isn't quite right. Love bombing is a hallmark sign of narcissistic relationships. Let's dissect why. According to Dr. Ramani Durvasula, a psychology professor, love bombing is a calculated future-faking technique. It's basically future-faking on steroids. They do it to disarm you. It's a way for them to manipulate you into a false sense of security and ultimately gain control over you. This phase is all about winning you over, making you believe that you found the love of your life. It's their way of saying, look how great I am. Look how wonderful I am for you. But remember, behind this facade lies a person whose primary goal is to feed their fragile ego. A narcissist's self-esteem is intricately tied to how they perceive themselves. It's not based on reality, but rather an inflated sense of their own importance. And you guessed it, it's unstable. When you compliment them or admire them, it feeds this fragile ego, making them feel validated and boosting their self-esteem. In the context of love bombing, think about it. When they shower you with gifts, compliments, and promises, they're not just trying to win you over. They're also gathering admiration and attention to bolster their own self-image. It's all about them. Love bombing is a short-term investment with long-term benefits for the narcissist. It's like a marketing strategy where you invest a little upfront to secure a long-term return. The narcissist is essentially buying your trust and affection in the hopes of gaining a reliable source of admiration, supply, and eventually control. Once they have you hooked, they know that they can rely on you to validate their ego and fulfill their emotional needs. Spotting the smoke and mirrors of love bombing can be tricky, especially when you're caught up in the euphoria of what seems like a dream romance. However, there are some key signs to watch out for. First, the intensity versus intimacy paradox. While love bombing may seem like a genuine expression of affection, it is important to consider whether there's a real connection or if it's just an overwhelming display of superficiality. True intimacy is built on mutual trust, vulnerability, and shared experiences. On the other hand, love bombing tends to be intense, but ultimately leaves you feeling more distant. Think about it. Does this person really know you? Do you share core values, interests, or life goals? Or is the relationship primarily focused on them and their grand gestures? It's okay to take a step back and evaluate if the intensity is overshadowing a deeper connection. Red flags and warp speed. Another indication that you might be experiencing love bombing is the presence of numerous red flags occurring at an accelerated pace. Have compliments gone beyond flattery to bordering on excessive praise? Is the relationship moving extremely fast with discussions of commitment or marriage? Be cautious of these signs. Rapid relationship milestones, excessive compliments, and mirroring behaviors are telltale signs of love bombing. Narcissists often try to rush relationships forward, pressuring you into making quick decisions or commitments. They want to lock you in before you have a chance to fully assess the relationship. Similarly, excessive compliments, while flattering, can be a red flag. Are the compliments vague, generic, or focused on how amazing you are as a person rather than getting to know the real you? Mirroring behaviors is another sign. Does the person mirror your movements, speech patterns, or even opinions? Mirroring is a common tactic used by narcissists to establish a sense of closeness and connection quickly. However, it asks a superficial way of building rapport and doesn't necessarily indicate a genuine understanding of your perspective. The ideal partner, how do they manage to be the perfect match for you, almost too perfectly? Narcissists are skilled at creating an illusion of the ideal partner. Through love bombing, they present themselves as your perfect match, someone who seems to check all the boxes. It's like finding someone who has all the qualities you've ever dreamed of in a partner. But behind this carefully crafted facade lies a person who is more focused on how you perceive them rather than genuinely getting to know you. They shape-shift into what they think you want them to be. Think about it. Do they consistently reflect back to you what you want to hear or what you desire in a relationship? Are they skilled at knowing exactly what to say to make you feel loved and cherished? While it might feel incredibly appealing to encounter someone who seems to embody all your relationship aspirations, it's essential to look beyond the surface. Remember, the perfect partner you envision may exist, but love bombing is not the foundation on which a healthy, lasting relationship can be built. The crash and burn. After the initial phase of love bombing comes a drastic shift in behavior, a crash and burn, as they say. Suddenly the affection fades, the compliments cease, and the promises are broken. This abrupt change can leave you confused, questioning what happened and why. You might start noticing critical and devaluing comments, inconsistent behavior, and a lack of empathy. This phase often marks the beginning of emotional abuse and manipulation. It's during this time that you might truly see the manipulative side of the narcissistic person. Their true colors shine through as they become dismissive, critical, and even cruel at times. This phase is confusing and emotionally draining. You might find yourself questioning your own feelings, thoughts, and even sanity. The gaslighting begins. You may start blaming yourself for the shift in behavior, wondering if you did something wrong. It's crucial to remember that you didn't cause this change. It's the narcissist's way of controlling and manipulating you. Once they have you in their grip, the love bombing ends and the devaluation begins. Then it starts all over again with the hoopering. They will come back into your life with promises of change and a renewed intensity, only to do it all over again. Love bombing, devaluation, hoovering. It's a toxic cycle that can be difficult to break free from. Healing and protecting your heart. Recognizing and understanding narcissistic love bombing is a significant step towards protecting yourself from its devastating effects. Here's how you can move forward. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Your intuition is your most powerful ally. Don't ignore that little voice that tells you something isn't right. 2. Set firm boundaries. Establish healthy emotional and physical limits. Don't be afraid to say no or to take a step back when needed. Remember, true love and respect won't come from someone who tries to pressure you into a whirlwind romance. 3. Rebuild self. Focus on self-care, seek support, and understand that the narcissist's behavior is not your fault. You deserve love that is genuine, respectful, and supportive. It's crucial to be aware of this tactic, not just for yourself, but also for others. Educate friends and family members about love bombing so they, too, can protect themselves from falling prey to it. By shedding light on this manipulative strategy, we can collectively create a safer environment and ensure that love, in its purest form, continues to thrive.